All right, welcome back. We are on strategy 7, which is on understanding and connecting word meanings. This is a little bit of an extension of the previous strategy, which was about determining word meanings through things like context clues, looking at prefixes and suffixes and the roots of words, breaking apart compound words. So we're still kind of in the same area of learning here. But today we're going to start off by talking about the difference between literal and non-literal meanings. I'm going to do a lot more of just sort of reading off the page today so that I don't skip anything that's important. I may stop and talk about a few things as we go through here, but I want to make sure that I cover the information thoroughly. And kind of like the last lesson, this one's not super long. It's not a skill that takes a ton of review, but certainly knowing the difference between literal and non-literal is going to help you tremendously on the test and going forward. Okay, so the strict meaning of a word is called its literal meaning. That's the dictionary definition. The meaning of root, for example, is part of a plant. The root of the tree grew far into the soil. Sometimes writers use words that have a non-literal meaning. The family is starting to put down roots in the new town. To figure out the meaning of non-literal terms, think about the literal meaning. Roots help a plant live and grow where it is. A strong plant has roots too. The literal meaning of the phrase has a similar meaning. A family that puts down roots settles down and makes a strong life in a place. A reader must be able to tell what an author means when reading the text. The context can give a clue about the meaning. When writing about a plant's roots, the author is likely using the literal meaning. When writing about families and roots, the author is likely using the non-literal meaning. Some non-literal phrases use exaggerations. They describe things that are not possible in real life. Thinking about the literal meanings gives you a clue to what they mean. Look at the following example. A person being in hot water, meaning that somebody's in trouble. An item costing an arm and a leg. It's really expensive. A person feeling down in the dumps, feeling really sad. Time flies when you're having fun. It goes really fast, but I doubt it literally flies. So you're kind of thinking about these things, and their literal meaning can get you kind of close to the non-literal meaning too. Being in hot water is a negative thing. It's a troubling thing. Costing an arm and a leg, well, that's pretty expensive. You're losing half your limbs in one deal right there. Down in the dumps. The dumps, not necessarily a place where we want to spend our time. So time flies. Something that flies moves quickly. So even in these exaggerations, these non-literal expressions, there are a lot of clues to the term's eventual meaning. All right, here in our example, the student is taking steps to be accepted into the college of his choice. The student is not literally thinking about footsteps and walking. He or she's performing the first actions needed to complete something. The sentence is about a student working to be accepted into college. It is not about the student walking anywhere. Okay, we're skipping past the work, which we'll return to in the answers and explanation video. But we have another page to go through here on 38. Okay, so this particular section is about choosing words that are precise or, that maybe fit into a situation better than others. Not using words that are too general or generic. And so choosing the words that are most precise to the situation is something that writers do, and it's something that you need to be able to recognize on the test. Writers choose words to express special meanings. They connect the words they use to ideas in our real world. The relationship between words and phrases also helps give writing its meaning. Instead of just saying a character is mad, all right, you guys, sorry there was a little bit of pause there and I lost my place, but in a school things get loud. Sometimes you got to go tell people to quiet down that you're recording footage. Okay, so I think I was here about this second paragraph. So instead of just saying a character is mad, a writer might describe a character as furious. So, mad is a generic word, Furious really communicates, that it's a severe level of anger. And if we want to show that a character is really mad, well, then the word mad itself is not going to get it done. We need something that's a little bit more intense. This shows the character is more than just mad, or the writer may describe the character as upset. This shows the character is not quite mad, just a little ticked off. Paying attention to an author's word choices gives the reader a good idea about his or her meaning. So, be on the lookout for some of those stronger words, instead of mad, furious, or, instead of irritated, upset. We can understand connections between words and how they're used. Someone who's friendly might be described as warm, outgoing, or kind. These descriptions might remind you of people that you know. So there's a little bit of difference between these words, warm, outgoing, kind. Someone who's warm is maybe kind of nurturing and, makes you feel welcome. Someone who's outgoing maybe likes being part of a social scene, but they may not necessarily be warm. Somebody who's kind, they may not be outgoing. They may not be like super welcoming in a social situation. They might be super quiet, but also very kind in their heart. So even though these words are similar, there are differences in their meaning. And you can see how you probably want to use one of these more precise words rather than just friendly, because friendly doesn't communicate nearly as much. Okay? A person who's helpful might be described as supportive, neighborly, or cooperative. However, a tool that's helpful might be described as handy, practical, or useful. To look for connections between words and their uses, think about context. If the sentence is about a snowstorm, big or huge might be good descriptions. A blizzard, however, might be described as massive or even colossal. A hurricane you might describe as massive, colossal, catastrophic. Okay, Paula is fearful of roller coasters. Ryan is terrified of them. And so what we're supposed to see here is, Paula, she didn't really like roller coasters. She has some fear. But Ryan, his fear, his terror is on a whole other level than Paula's. He's much more afraid of them. And, fearful and terrified are very similar words. Terrified is certainly much more intense. But be aware of, that those small differences in words can communicate a big difference in meaning. All right, so our last thought here is, when writing a report for work, be as descriptive as possible. I'll say when you're writing anything, be as descriptive or as precise as possible. Think about the connection between the ideas you're writing about. You may need to use words that are specific to the type of work you do. Choose the words carefully to express what you mean. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, but you are going to go back and do the work on page 37 and on page 39. And here in a few minutes, when you're finished, click on the video to see the answers and explanation.